Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Paritosh Joshi and I'm here along with Wali Siddiqui talking about Manchester United. The next game, Arsenal game. अब बहुत बड़ा गेम है ये Arsenal के against because we are now on 3 wins on a trot और Arsenal are on 5 wins on a trot. And many United fans are hopeful that we'll finally be able to get momentum and we'll be able to shut Arsenal's momentum. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about who is going to start, whether Ronaldo is in contention to start in the playing 11. Anthony, will he come off the bench, and a lot more. First of all, welcome Wali. Big game, big game against Arsenal at Old Trafford. क्या लग रहा है मतलब अभी कैसा मूड कैसा है डू यू होप कि हम पॉइंट्स निकाल पाएंगे what are your expectations from this game as of now?
It's a big game. It's a massive game, to be very honest. And इससे पहले start होने से पहले ही only we were having this discussion that although that we did face Liverpool a few days ago, I don't think that we were as hyped as we are for this game because the expectation levels were quite low, especially after that defeat against Brentford. So we all thought that Liverpool, although they did end up not winning their first two games, we all thought that Liverpool might actually brush aside United just like they did in the previous season. But it turned out to be a really good performance from our end, and we beat them 2-1, which then led to a clinical win against Southampton, which also catapulted us to another professional performance, you have to say, against Leicester City. So that's 3 wins on the bounce. So once
Hmm.
you've actually got those 3 wins under your belt, you always have this hope of continuing this momentum, and it shouldn't stop. But Arsenal has been the best team in the league so far. All right, and the
Hmm.
way that they've been playing, it's Mikel Arteta's third or fourth year with the Gunners, and he's got them in the mood. He's got the Arsenal faithful on his side. Some of the fans who were actually adamant that he might not be the guy, he's actually turning quite a few haters wrong, and he's playing some really good football with this young team. So yes, I'm really excited for this game, and it's really important for us as a club
For
that
both
we
the
win
sides,
this
I
game
think.
tomorrow. Yeah, I think
For both the
yeah, it's
sides, right?
important for both. It's important for both. But why I say that it's like from a United fans perspective, why I say this is because see, we've gained the confidence. I think once when someone says that are we turning a corner, I think this might be the game which suggests that we have turned the corner because if you beat Arsenal, like a confident sign who's actually won 5 games on the bounce, in spite of how we started at the beginning, then I think it can actually uplift you to other departments over here. So the games after Arsenal, you will be fancying your chances, and I
Hmm.
think it's really important that we win tomorrow. We shall dissect the Leicester game as well, so that we'll after dissecting that Leicester game, we'll also talk about Arsenal in tandem. But yeah, I'm confident. I think we might actually get the 3 points. So yeah, let's just see how it happens.
Okay, let's talk about the Leicester game because you want to talk about that. We'll talk about the Leicester game, the review for it. It was a clinical performance, I feel. We did similar to the Southampton game. We scored a goal and then we were under the pressure. We dealt with it. We didn't concede a goal because there were chances late on. Leicester did have some good passage of play in the middle, but we protected our lead and. The one goal that we scored with Jadon Sancho was enough for us to secure the 3 points, and I think it was a clinical performance. It was just enough for United to win, and not for people to go all over Brendan Rodgers. Because although Leicester lost, but Leicester were still looking good. So I don't think because there were talks around Brendan Rodgers getting the sack and this and that. I don't think that game proved that Brendan Rodgers doesn't deserve more time with Leicester City.
Well, yes. If you talk about the game against Leicester, mm, once again we were compact in defense. All right. If there's one thing that has been the most impressive with the Manchester United, that is the back four. Ever since the Liverpool game, I think Malacia, Martinez, Rafael Varane, and Diego Dalot have completely sealed their position. They're actually loving playing with one another. You can see the camaraderie amongst those four. It's I do not remember the last time this unity was there in a United defense. I think it was probably during the time of Rafael, Ferdinand, Vidic, and Evra. And ever since that, I think this is the back four that we've actually started actually admiring. And yes, it's early days, but so far what we've seen is actually it's you couldn't say that it's a fluke. You can't say that it's a fluke. The way that we've been organizing our defensive shape, you have to give credit to Ten Hag as well. Um, if Martinez messes something up, there will always be Rafael Varane who will actually clean up that mess. Then you have Malaysia and Deo Godelo, attacking the overlapping, making those overlapping runs and adding further pressure towards the opponent's box. So it's been terrific so far, and I really hope that this is the reason why I'm actually a little positive against Arsenal. Arsenal attacking wise, they've been really good, but I do not feel that they have been challenged. The attacking force haven't been challenged to an extent that just if with a quality defense of United, which are actually who are actually outdoing themselves. Yes, you might say that it's just Leicester, it's Southampton, but not conceding on away fixtures is something which is actually really difficult. All right, especially when there are 50 to 60,000 fans actually singing your songs. When we're talking about Leicester and Southampton, so yes, it's been. If you talk about the organizational structure from Ten Hag, the defense and midfield, I think it's been decent. Attacking wise, we're a little toothless. I think Rashford as centre forward might not be the exact answer. I just want him to be on the flanks. Antony will give us further options as well when he does come on the right. And across that, Cristiano Ronaldo starts as a centre forward. Now, even if he doesn't, I might understand what Ten Hag is trying to do because he just wants to add further pressure up the pitch because he wants his pacey attackers to be there and to add pressure on those Arsenal defenders. But in a game such as Arsenal, you need a guy who just loves scoring against them. And that's Cristiano Ronaldo. And if there's anyone who I trust more as a centre forward position, it's not Marcus Rashford, but it's Ronaldo. I'd shift Rashford to the left and Antony to the right, but or sorry, Jadon Sancho to the right, and I think that might be the ideal solution. But yes, I think all in all, it's a good win for us. It keeps us in check. We're excited, but at the same time, we're not too excited because it's going to take a little time. The good thing is that the building blocks are there, and we should eventually reach there.
Yeah, building blocks are set. We are looking like a side who are determined to do good, who are determined to show the fans that good football can be played with these set of players, and that is one thing that United fans craved for a lot of time now. That we just wanted to see some good football. We didn't. After our expectations were so low after a point that it was not about trophies and something like that. It was just about give us some hope that further down the line we'll be able to challenge, we'll be able to compete, and that's all we want right now. So yeah, there are signs that we are being competitive, especially defensively. Defensively, we are quite good in the past three games. This back four, as you said, is looking solid. Varane and Lisandro Martinez are complementing each other really well. The calmness of Varane is complemented by the ferocious aggression of Lisandro Martinez, and that is something that we lacked for quite some time, I think, because Maguire and Lindelof, Maguire and Bailly, no one really complemented each other. We had the centre back pairing of uh, Lindelof with Maguire, but that was always unsettled. And I feel like finally we have a centre back pairing who is looking like they can do the part. They can help the team build. They can help in situations where the attackers like. They can bring the game forward. Uh, they can have a better outcome, better output offensively as well with carrying the ball forward. And दैट इज समथिंग यूनाइटेड फैंस लैग मुझे लगता है कि यूनाइटेड फैंस को एक होप चाहिए थी वो होप दे दी है इस बैक फोर ने इस टीम ने अभी तक और even Old Trafford पे हमने देखा था Old Trafford is very much behind the team, behind the manager whenever the team is playing there. So I hope Arsenal के against और बढ़ी जाएगा Liverpool के against it was tremendous. The Old Trafford became the 12th man in a sense that they provided the extra boost to the players to do well and protect the lead that they had. तो यहाँ पर वो भी बहुत important होगा how the team starts because we started in a manner against Liverpool that the whole stadium got behind the team. So if we start great against Arsenal तो एक और चांस है कि वहाँ पर फिर से वैसा ही कुछ देखने मिलेगा आर्सेनल एक बार फिर अंडर द प्रेशर होगी ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड पर, तो वो मुझे लगता है वो इम्पोर्टेंट होने वाला है। और वो एक्चुअली फेवर में काम कर सकता है यहाँ पर मैनचेस्टर
Yeah.
यूनाइटेड के।
Yeah, you saw that. You saw that in the game against Liverpool as well. Especially in the opening 5 minutes, if you remember, I think Martinez had made a tackle on Mohamed Salah, and immediately after like recovering from that tackle, you saw that Martinez was right at Salah. He was pushing him, trying to bully him and all that. So he was already in the mood. And similarly, we can expect the same against Arsenal because although you could say that the mighty have fallen for both
हम्म।
Arsenal and United, that rivalry has always been top notch, and I expect the same to continue tomorrow as well. It's good that both teams are now finding form. And yes, I think defensively, I think for the very first time after a really long time, like I've said before, also United's defense has excited me. The attack, yes, it needs a lot of work. Midfield, on the other hand, if you talk about Ericsson, a special word for Ericsson, and even McTominay, although he has been criticized a lot by me, I'm not one of his biggest fans, but the way that he actually displayed his skills in the game against Arsenal, you hello,
हाँ, you're audible, you're audible. Please keep speaking.
yeah, Paridosh, you there? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, you're audible.
So, like I was saying, that McTominay he did show his presence was actually there in the previous game, and he did do some decent things in that game. If you talk about his passing, his interceptions, his tackles, I think I was deeply impressed. One of his finest performances for United. Casemiro will take time for to adjust. So as a result of that, I think feel that Casemiro he won't be given a game against Arsenal. He might be coming in the 60th or 65th minute once again. He just needs a little much more, a little more time to get adjust to the pace of the Premier League. And with the way that McTominay is playing, I think he'll have to wait for a little while more. There's no
I
doubt
think
that he will
McTominay
come in
also had
Casemiro
to
sooner
pull up
rather
his
than
game
later.
when
But
Casemiro arrived.
yeah,
I think when Casemiro arrived, McTominay
yeah,
knew
that's
that
good.
his place
And Ericsson, yeah,
was
with the way that Ericsson, I think he has to be one of our finest
Ericsson is going under the radar for most most
signings.
teams. I think most people don't realize the impact Ericsson has had. He is
Hmm.
the ball carrier at the moment, and he's the one who is doing the transition stuff. So he's actually playing quite well. It's just that it's not very evident because he is not doing the flare passes, the 50-yard odd passes, the final ball in the final third that creates the goal. He's not doing that, but he's being very essential to the team. So you have to give props to that. We lacked that for quite some time. Pogba was constantly injured because his was the role of the one who needs to transfer the ball from defense to attack. He wasn't able to do that properly for a long time, and we just hope that Ericsson does finally do the job for United.
I think the one good thing about Ericsson is that he does bring calmness onto the pitch. On certain occasions against Leicester, you could see that when it was actually getting quite erratic over there, Leicester City were challenging, were winning the 50-50 game. I think that is going to be something which is going to be really important for tomorrow's game. So Ericsson was slow. Ericsson was slow. Bruno Fernandes, on the other hand, like he may be having his issues with the final product and all that, but if you look at his work rate, I think that has uh, improved terrifically well. Even if you look at, there were occasions where Leicester City or Southampton in the previous game were looking to counter United, and the first guy who always ran behind the pitch, like behind those players, was Bruno Fernandes. So, like you cannot question his work ethic. Yes, we can get into the technicalities and say he's helping our midfield and our defense a lot. And this is what Ten Hag has brought in. That aggressiveness is finally back in Manchester United's camp, and this is exactly what I expect to see from these guys tomorrow. I'm just a little worried about that. Even when Cristiano Ronaldo, when he was subbed in, there was some good give and goes from him. There was some good give and goes from him. There was some good link up play from him. I think that is going to be something which is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to be really important for tomorrow's game. So Rashford and Sancho, they need to be on the flanks because their pace can actually turn out to be devastating for Arsenal. And United has to create some. He has to play as a false nine. He can be that poacher as well. I think he can do that. Ten Hag needs to trust him a little bit, and I think we might be able to get a positive result out of it.
Okay, that's quite good, and we hope that we get a positive result out of that. Uh, so, in in continuation to that, I'd like to have a starting 11 and a prediction from your side because there's a big question mark of
Okay.
Cristiano Ronaldo
Hmm.
because that is done. He is going to stay. He, will he start at Old Trafford against Arsenal? That is the big question. And when you give us the playing 11, we'll talk why you chose the players you chose.
So David De Gea starts in goal once again, and the back four, it has to be unmoved unless and until there's an injury. Touchwood, I hope there isn't no injury for a long time to come because that back four is solid as a rock. And then Scott McTominay, he's earned his way into the side. He has to be there for a while now. Scott McTominay. Um then who else was there? Sorry, Ericsson and Bruno Fernandes, of course, the same. And instead of Elanga, I would definitely want Sancho. I haven't seen much from Elanga, to be very honest. He needs to improve his game. I think that was the only non-threatening area from our end. If you look at the previous game against Leicester, there was nothing coming from the right. It was either Malaysia or Sancho. So I hope that instead of Elanga, it's Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, and Ronaldo up top. I think that might be the ideal 11 for tomorrow.
Okay, so Rashford from the left, Sancho from the right, and Ronaldo up top. That's the three for you. And do you think
Yeah,
Casemiro
yeah.
starts?
I think he's gonna need more time. I think his debut, his for like complete. If you talk about his first minutes for United, will be uh, against which team do we face on Thursday? It will be the Europa League fixture. I think that would be the perfect game for him to actually gel in with the side and start off. But right now, against a big game, against a big team such as Arsenal, especially when he's not yet picked the pace of the Premier League, in spite of him being world class, I think, and with the way that McTominay has recently been playing, I think he'll be brought in the 60th or 65th minute. But I wouldn't start him for now. I think McTominay does. I think even Eric Ten Hag would persist with McTominay.
Okay, Eric Ten Hag would persist with McTominay, you think? And now let's talk about the big question, Ronaldo. Why do you think he starts in this particular game? Because Eric Ten Hag thought that it was better that he started off from the bench against Liverpool, a side who presses high, who likes to have the ball in their stride, and who want to attack you. United wanted power and United wanted pace in that particular game. They wanted the youth to come forward. Why do you think that would not be the case against Arsenal?
I'm going with my gut feeling. I want Ronaldo simply to start because Elanga hasn't shown me any glimpses of quality like in the start of the season so far. Why
But he
I
was good
think he
against
doesn't
Liverpool at
persist
the
with
start.
Ronaldo is because he wants pace in spite of Elanga's. He was. But the thing is, there was a moment against Leicester. I do not remember if you actually have a memory of that. It's when Marcus Bruno had flicked the ball to Marcus Rashford, and then he had
I
flicked
know.
it to Ronaldo for a counter attack. You
Yeah,
remember?
yeah.
And if this was
Mm.
Cristiano Ronaldo of 2008 or 2009, you knew that he was going to zip past the defender and then pass it back to Rashford, and he would have scored.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's really easy in a sense to defend against Ronaldo when he's got half a yard because that pace, with no blames to him, he's a 37-year-old, so obviously they're going to stop him. So I think that is exactly the reason why he doesn't. Ten Hag doesn't want Ronaldo to start because he wants, and that is exactly the same reason why Harry Maguire is on the bench. Ronaldo and Harry Maguire, to a certain degree, lack pace, and if you want to actually feature in Eric Ten Hag's system, then you need to have pace along with the technicality.
The modern game in
So,
general, the modern game is very
although,
pacey. If you want to be
yeah,
a top footballer in
yeah,
today's game in any team, you'll need to have pace.
hmm,
Without pace, you can't compete with these
yep,
players because the gameplay is at a very high pace, and for that, for to even match the playing style, you have to have pace. And Ronaldo is just not the
hmm,
same player that he was even 3 4 years ago. So it's just a matter of fact that he lacks in pace, and when he was not able to run past the defender in the final few minutes, how will be able how will he be able to run past defenders during the start of the game? So
Right.
it's that was my question, and that's why I believe that for Ronaldo to start, it needs to be like Alanga or Sancho or Rashford need to uh, put one hell of a bad performance for Ronaldo to start. I think he'll persist with the three of Alanga, Sancho, and Rashford. Although I do want Ronaldo to start at some point, and also because of the fact that Anthony Martial is injured, I want someone who has a natural goal scoring ability. Because Alanga is
Hmm.
not a natural goal scorer. Let's all agree on that,
Hmm.
and we want a natural
Hmm.
goal scorer in our side when we play against these teams in the Premier League in general. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think Ronaldo will not start. You think Ronaldo will start? Let's see what Eric Ten Hag thinks. And do you think Antony, the big signing of the summer, who came in the final few days of the transfer window, will he feature for United? Will he come off the bench or anything like that? Do you think he'll be
Hmm.
on the bench?
I have this feeling that he will come off the bench. I don't think that he's going to start. He will definitely come off the bench. Now, be it after the 70th minute, 75th minute, that all depends on the scoreline. If we are, God forbid, if we are trailing, then he might come on. He might come on earlier. So that's going to be interesting to see as to how he rotates his team, and it's going to be interesting. But if we talk about like coming back to Ronaldo as well, even if you look at Eric Ten Hag's approach, right, he's keeping it actually a little basic because the way that we're building it up from the back is actually simple, intricate passes, and then we move on to the midfield. But on certain occasions, we also opt for the long ball, the classic long ball, be it from David De Gea, be it from Martinez, and if you are persisting with the long ball, then you need to have quick and pacey uh, attackers over there, be it Rashford, Sancho, or Antony for that matter. And Ronaldo, like he might not be able to persist with that initially. Once we actually start having an identity, a proper identity, that this is the way that we are going to play, like we haven't completely implemented that. It's just baby steps right now. Then I think we might get to see more of Cristiano Ronaldo as a starter. But as of now, he's persisting with this, and yeah, Antony might have a huge role to play in regards to with regard to Ronaldo starting as well, because the way that he cuts in and he could provide Ronaldo with those crosses is something which he will cherish, definitely cherish. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think that Anthony is going to start tomorrow. I do think he might come off the bench. Now that also depends on the scoreline. If we are leading by 1-0, then you might say that he might not start. He might not feature at all. There might be a defensive midfielder of Fred coming on instead of someone. If we're trailing, then he might come on a little
It's
early.
also, I think
So
it's also what is the condition of the team at that point. Because if
yeah,
we are leading 1-0 and the team is playing attacking football, we are about to score another goal, then he might come on. He might be there to just open up the defense more. Because uh, for Eric Ten Hag, from what I've seen from him in the games that have gone by, he only implements the defensive player when the team is already under pressure, when the team is
yeah.
not able to cope that well, when the team is not able to attack that well. That is when
Hmm.
he tries to change things and give some defensive solidarity because he doesn't want to lose the 3 points. So I think it's going to be crucial to see how the team is playing at the particular point of time when his substitutions are to be made. So yeah, I think that's that. Do you want to add something to this?
It's just that it's a big game, and we've got 3 wins in the bag.
Give
If
us a
we win
prediction. Give us a
tomorrow, I
prediction.
think
Give us a prediction. Because
like
the fact is,
although at the start of the show I did say that I was positive and we might get the win, but I'm a little
hello, Wally. I don't
yeah.
think
I've lost you just a
you're
second.
audible.
Yeah,
तो
can you?
यहाँ
Yeah,
पर
so I'm back. Yeah, I'm back.
वली का इंटरनेट थोड़ा फकअप
I'm
कर
back.
गया.
I'm back. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll
So
give my
what are you
prediction. I
saying?
think it's going to be, although at the start of the show I thought that we might get the win, but I'm a little uh, concerned about Arsenal's form with the way that they've been performing. So I think it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a tight game, and it's going to be a one-all draw. That's my final say. Yeah.
1-1 draw. I believe it's going to be a 1-all draw or 2-1, 3-1 United, because it's going to be a, and if, even if we win by like a 3-1, it's going to be a late goal,
Mm.
because we are not going to outplay them
Yeah.
completely. I don't believe that's possible, because Arsenal are looking pretty good. They are playing good football. Jesus is scoring for them. All three Gabriels are performing for them. We have three Anthony's now.
Mm.
So the next Arsenal game could be Gabriel
Mm.
Cube versus Anthony Cube, because Martial would be fit. Anthony, we have another one, Anthony. So yeah, let's see how things go. It's a 1-1 prediction from Wally against Arsenal. From my side, I'll put it 2-1 to United. I'll be a little more positive in this particular game, but I do believe we have a chance of losing at Old Trafford. I'm not ruling that out. We'll have to see how things go. As far as this live is, I think it's done. This was all from me, Parth Joshi, and Wali Siddiqui. We'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye and good night.